Hey, this is Henry Sands with another episode, a daily episode of Real Talk. We want to thank our investor at Park Bank. Thank you for everything you're doing. Thank you for supporting us at this time, especially when people need communication about what's going on with COVID-19. So I have my man from Milwaukee. Milwaukee County is actually running in. My good friend over there, David Crowley.
How you doing,
sir?
How you doing?
How you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing all right. I am being well. Staying at home, practicing, I like to call it physical distancing because we can still be social like we're doing right now, but just making sure we're being healthy and doing everything that we can right now to make sure that everybody is signing up to get their absentee ballot, to get to the polls. And if they don't get their absentee ballot, and if they do plan on going to the polls, to make sure they're protected. But it's interesting times right now, man.
Yeah, because your election is April 7th, but the absentee has been extended to April 13th. Is that right?
Absolutely. So Friday, April 3rd, 5 o'clock is the deadline to have all of your absentee information in. And because you don't know when those absentee ballots are not only going to be, in your mailbox, but if you turn it in, it may not be in the clerk's office by election day. So the judge have extended it to where all absentee ballots that are mailed to the clerk's office by 5 o'clock on April 13th will be counted.
Okay. Well, how you feeling? You're nervous, excited, tired, all the above?
It's kind of like all of the above. I'm excited. This has been an exciting race since being in this now since November 4th, 2019. But, definitely excited about the race coming. Anxious because, been in this race for a very long time. It's been a sprint. But also nervous because we don't know who's going to come out to vote. This pandemic has not only taken a toll on us practicing democracy, but even on our economy and just making sure we keep people healthy. And so, but we've been doing everything that we can to make sure we're calling folks, utilizing every digital platform we can use, mailing, emailing, texting, doing everything that we can to reach out to folks to be safe, be well, and not to forget to vote.
Yeah. Do you think what's going on in Milwaukee, especially with the black community, that this is really hitting the black community extremely hard? Do you think that will have an impact on your race? I mean, obviously, you're not just a black candidate. You have a lot of people going to be voting for you, but that has to be part of your base. Does that concern you?
I mean, it does concern anybody. I mean, Milwaukee County is one of the worst counties in the state when it comes down to health outcomes. And so what we're seeing right now is not necessarily new in the sense that we're not making sure that we're doing everything that we can in the black community to keep them healthy. But with this pandemic right now, I think it's exacerbating the issues that we see now within the city, but also within the county. And so we see that the north side of the city of Milwaukee, my assembly district, the Midtown area, we've seen an uptick in many cases of people actually contracting this virus. And we have to have some real conversation. In these times, though, it is easy for equity to be lost, right? Because we want to focus on the health and well-being of everybody. But if we don't focus on equity at the exact same time at the center of this conversation, then we're not doing ourselves any justice now, but it also helps us prepare for in the future if something like this was to happen again.
Yeah. I think that, one, we wish everyone in Milwaukee, everyone statewide, we wish you well health. And, especially folks in Milwaukee, like you just said, we really want people to take this seriously, right? Because it's really impacting our community. And shout out to Milwaukee for Milwaukee's actually one of the few counties that I know of in the state that are actually breaking it down, who's impacted by the coronavirus, impacting people by race, right? Like, only reason you guys know this because you're actually doing the data showing that it's impacting black folks. Everyone should be doing that. Everyone should be knowing who it's impacting because it helps us figure out how to inform those communities. So shout out to Milwaukee for doing that.
Absolutely. I mean, right now, everybody is like, well, are we overreacting? Are we not doing enough? And it's like we have to continue to do as much as we can. I mean, right now, the way that it's impacting the African-American community, it's like, OK, what are we doing to make sure that people really understand how to keep themselves protected? Are there PSAs? We can't go door to door. So how do we reach these individuals? Is it by mail? Is it only through social media platforms? But at the end of the day, no matter if you're black, white, Hispanic, Asian, we have to all protect ourselves. So that's making sure that we're washing our hands, not touching our faces, and just making sure that we practice that physical distancing, and many of the times, I think we realize now how much we actually need that physical touch in a sense. We like to socialize and we like to have fun. And, I know that I'm a hugger, right? And it's just like when I go see somebody, I shake their hand and I pound them, I hug them. And it's just like, it's different. And this is going to create a whole new normal, to be honest with you. But it's also, I think that there's some opportunities within this challenge. And we have to make sure that we're identifying them to find ways to improve this community.
Yeah. Hey, thank you, by the way. Thank you from the whole 365 team for doing the PSA you did for us. Thank you. We put that out, and we had a great response. And you did wonderful. Thank you for doing that so quickly, and other 20 leaders who were part of that. So thank you. I think that's important. Let me give you a shout out, man. So when you won your primary, for some reason you couldn't show up. I don't know. You were being a diva or something. You couldn't show up.
Yeah, I was in. They actually scheduled a session day on election day, on the primary election.
But your wife,
I wasn't able to go.
Your wife did wonderful representing you and holding you down, man. I don't know your wife, but hey, look, tell your wife. I was like,
absolutely.
When you got home, did she give you the business though? Say, hey, wait a minute, I'm not out here running up. You should be up here. Did she? She gave you the business, didn't she?
Oh,
yes,
man,
she did.
So I'm
yes,
gonna be honest with you, man. So the night before, we were already having this conversation to kind of prep her on just in case. We didn't know how long session was going to be, and so the night before, I'm like, listen, I just want you to know that I may need you to speak on my behalf. And so I'm getting ready that next morning to head to Madison. And she was like, all right, you're going to be back in time? And I just had to say, no, I need you to be ready for this. And she knocked it out the park. I mean, she's amazing. I wouldn't be able to do this work without her. And, that's really the first time that she's ever done anything like that. And, I tell her all the time, if people, it's not about if you want to do it or not. Right, because I think the people love to choose their leaders. And if you can go out there and be the dynamic black woman that you are and that I know you to be, everybody will accept you and people are going to see you more and more.
Yeah, she did wonderful. Seriously, that was her first time doing it. I didn't show. She sincerely did well. I see you didn't answer the question though. She gave you that business when you got home. I know she did. I know she did. You don't got to put it out there, but I know she did.
Well, yeah. And she couldn't. She was like, I can't wait till you win this, so you can stop coming home this late. So
you are doing two jobs, man. I mean, running for county exec. So what's going on with the legislature? I see the governor was talking about trying to get a special session together. So it's not like do you know what he wants to do or he's talking about at that point?
So the governor, I think the governor is calling a special session for this election to be moved. And I think it's as a result of, what the federal judge just recently said about the fact that the governor nor the state legislature has done anything to alter what's happening during this election. And I think that the governor, in response not only to the judge, but to many of my Democratic colleagues and people on the ground, said we have to do something. And unfortunately, it's not in the governor's purview to do it as it reads in state statute. So the legislature has to come together. But I don't have any faith in the Republican leadership in saying that we're going to meet between now and the election day. And so I know that we have to meet sooner than later when it comes down to what we're going to do to help people out with the coronavirus, when it comes down to unemployment, child care, the personal protective equipment that our healthcare professionals need. And how do we support even our public safety officials and workers that are out there on the front lines as well? And so, I don't see anything happening. I will say that it is kind of too late to be doing something like that. 4 days before an election, there was I think the first, executive order around the Safe at Home was around March 25th. And so, we've had some time to really find ways to make sure that everybody can vote. But, now the law is the law. The judge has ruled, so we have to do everything that we can up until this point.
Well, let's hope that they make the right decision for everyone. And so before we go, do you want to say anything to the people in Milwaukee County about your campaign? Do you want to say anything about this election, about being nervous about what's going on? I mean, there's a lot going on. You being a leader, I'm sure people want to hear from you. So what would you say to people right now who are in Milwaukee County, statewide, but Milwaukee County?
Well, you know what? I mean, I think this message needs to go statewide, which is this is not a time for partisan bickering. Nobody cares if you're a Democrat or Republican, a union member or a business owner, or don't care about politics at all. This is really about how we're going to come to the table and find ways to get over this pandemic. How do we make sure that we have a healthy community? And how do we get close to a road of recovery that works for everybody? And I think that right now, we need leadership that's going to rise to the occasion. Not only will I do that, but I'm going to make sure that we bring people within my administration that's willing to work with the state legislature as well as the governor's administration to get a handle on this. And Milwaukee County needs to be a leader on that. And I want to be that leader to put us in the best position to make sure that we can thrive again.
Yeah. My personal opinion, if Milwaukee County or even the city of Milwaukee has a black leader at this time, the message and the power that would send to people in the communities would be extremely powerful. I mean, just think about if you're in Milwaukee right now and you're one of those families who are, someone who's having health issues. Are you concerned? Is there a distrust? You're not trusting the system. And then a week later, 2 weeks later, you have a black leader leading the cause. That has to send you some hope. I mean, I don't have any stake in this race. But I'm just saying, just from that perspective.
When you think about it, it's really a historic moment. I mean, not the fact that I'm the first African American who's probably got this close in the race for county executive. But when you look at what's going on in the city of Milwaukee, you have Lena Taylor running for mayor. You have Tierman Spencer running for city attorney. You have Jason Fields running for city comptroller. And you got Spencer Cox, who's running for re-election for the treasurer seat. And so, this is an opportunity for us to see black people who have been doing a lot of the work in the community to rise up and vote for somebody that looks like them, but also has their best interests at heart. And this is a historic moment, but it only becomes a historic moment when everybody plays a role. And we won't know what that looks like until April 13th. And so if we want to make history, we need everybody to be a part of it by casting their ballot and making sure that we have a good turnout.
What are you going to do between April 7th and April 13th? I mean, that's a long wait.
Oh, man. I mean, it's going to be a stressful time. But at the same time, I'm going to continue to make phone calls, to be honest with you. I think that we won't know, who had voted by that time. And so we're going to continue to reach out to as many people as possible, but also try to take a mental break from everything that's been going on. There's no days off on the campaign. And so, just try to chill with my family, not worry about a few things, because I know that, during that 6-day, 7-day period, I won't know any information. So it's going to be about, getting myself into a mental state, either to take on the coronavirus as the next Milwaukee County executive, or to take on the coronavirus as the continuing to be a state representative here in the city.
Yeah, well, thank you for all that you're doing. Stay healthy, stay safe. And tell your wife she Michelle Obama the game, and you tell her that she should be running. Tell her she should be running. Take you off and she should be running with her skills.
I'll let her know.
Tell her I said what's up. Hey, we appreciate you, man. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time another episode of Real Talk. And take care, everyone. Stay safe.